And we are back. Welcome to my final preview and prediction for the quarter-final of the Women's Euros after an absolutely unbelievable night of action between Sweden and England last night. If you want to see my reaction to the chaos, you can do so by clicking the link at the top of your screen right now. But also at the top of your screen right now is my preview and prediction for today's match in the women's quarterfinals. That is, of course, the game between Spain and Switzerland taking place this evening. This video, though, will be covering tomorrow's match between France and Germany. So if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video, share it with a friend, subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on, firstly, my previews and predictions for the semi-finals and the final of this competition, but also to get yourselves ready for a brand new season of club football. And speaking of the brand new season of club football, if you want to gain additional perks for the brand new season, as well as gaining access to exclusive predictions available over on my community page, you can do so by clicking the join button at the bottom of your screen to become a member of the channel. We will be posting all of the predictions regarding the games we will not be covering on Video New Season over on the members page. So, as for today's video, this is the state of play. After last night's game, we are up to 18 out of 26 in terms of correct results, because my prediction was for England to progress. No correct scores once again, though. Obviously, we did 2-1 England in 90 minutes. It did end up 2-2, but as we always say, when it comes to knockout football, it's the actual result that we take forward, which was, of course, the England win. Still only 2 correct scores, though, as I say. But we've got a massive, massive game to round off this quarter-final stage. We have got France and we have got Germany, the winners of Group D and the runners-up of Group C. But France, what an impressive tournament it has been for them so far. They won Group D by beating England, Wales and the Netherlands. Germany finished runners-up in Group C after firstly beating Poland and then Denmark, but obviously, crucially, losing 4-1 to Sweden on match day 3. And as we discussed ahead of the game between England and Sweden last night, Sweden didn't even play their full first team in that match against Germany when they beat them 4-1. And Germany did play their full first team. So that's potentially an early indication that France should probably be considered the slight favourites of this match, given the fact that Germany lost 4-1 to Sweden and France beat England, and obviously England beat Sweden last night. That said, it should definitely be noted that Germany were the side on top, certainly in the first portion of that game against Sweden. I didn't really get that point across very well in my Sweden-England prediction, but Germany were the stronger side to begin with. They got the early goal, but it should also be noted that the Swedish comeback and obviously the subsequent German red card did mean that it was going to be a 3-1 scoreline, even if Germany still had 11 players. Sweden pulled it back to 2-1. The shot was going in, the one that was saved on the goal line. So even if the handball hadn't happened, Germany still would have been 3-1 down in that game. It would have been interesting to see how that game carried on from that position. But Sweden still would have been 3-1 up in that match if the German player hadn't been sent off. Obviously, it ended up finishing 4-1. In terms of the team news then, we have to start with that red card because Wamser is going to be suspended for this match for the straight red card, saving the ball on the goal line and preventing a certain goal. So it's the most obvious red card in football, it has to be said. That she is going to be missing. Other than that, though, we would expect the Germans to still play a relatively similar team. We could see them making changes. Obviously, they were, in my opinion, outperformed by Sweden in that game, even with 11 players at that point in time, albeit they were in control of the possession up to that point. I'll be interested to see if they do make other changes other than just Wamser. For the French, I mean, they could make changes, they could not. Certainly in that attacking line, it really doesn't matter, and that's where we can talk about how they performed, obviously against the English and against the Dutch, two other very good sides in this competition that they've already beaten. They can mix up their front line to no end, and they've still got so much quality. The standout player on match day 3, of course, being Cascarino, who had this unbelievable 5-minute spell where she first got an assist and then scored 2 goals, all in the space of 5 minutes. And like I said, the amount of attacking quality they've got, Cascarino, Katoto, Matteo, Diani. I'm definitely missing other ones because of Baltimore. I can't fit them all in my brain because there is so much attacking quality available to them. And that's meant that they're coming into this match on an 11-game winning run. It is the best winning run of any side in this competition, coming into this competition, should I say. And they're coming up against a German side who, to be fair, were on a pretty good unbeaten run themselves prior to that game against Sweden. But obviously that unbeaten run has gone. and France are on an 11-game winning run, which has included wins against England and against the Dutch in this tournament. So, again, I do think France should be considered the favourites, but the Germans do have a few world-class players in their lineup. Germany, we should not forget, are ranked 3rd in the world rankings. France are only ranked 10th, which means the last thing that we really need to talk about is, of course, that all-important head-to-head record, where the most recent game between these two sides was last year in the Nations League semi-final, no less. So these two have met in knockout competition as recently as last year, and on that occasion, it was the French who took the victory with a 2-1 win. Should also be noted that these sides did meet in the semi-finals yet again in this competition 3 years ago. On that occasion, it was the Germans who took the 2-1 victory. So, who knows? It is possible, but recent form against each other and recent form, certainly in this competition, would suggest that the French are the favourites. The final thing to note, though, is that, of course, the French do tend to concede goals. Even in this 11-game winning run, they have been conceding. They have, of course, conceded in all 3 matches of this competition so far, conceding once to England, once to Wales, and twice to the Dutch. They were, of course, 2-1 down against the Dutch in that game. So, don't rule the Germans out in this match by any stretch of the imagination. They are a quality team. They create a lot of chances. They score a lot of goals themselves. So, we could be in for a very, very high-scoring match. Let's not forget the French just won 5-2 against the Dutch. So, it wouldn't surprise me to see a very similar scoreline here. I think we're going to see more goals than what we saw in that Nations League semi-final last year, where it did finish 2-1 to the French. So, for me, I think the French should be considered the favourites. I think they are the most likely side to progress from this match, but I still think it's going to be relatively close. Like I say, I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I'm going to go for 3-2. It wouldn't surprise me if it was more. I could see it being a 4-2, 5-2 situation with the French. I could see it being a 2-2 draw that goes to extra time and penalties like last night. It wouldn't even surprise me if it was a 3-3 draw with how attacking these two sides are. And obviously, I still wouldn't be too surprised if Germany got the victory as well. But, like I say though, I do think with everything that's gone on so far in this tournament, with the run that the French are on, with the ability they've got in those attacking areas, I do just think the French are the most likely to get the result here. And that is why I'm going for France in 90 minutes. But as always, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I think this is going to be an incredibly, incredibly entertaining game. Possibly the most entertaining of all the games in this quarterfinal stage, which when you consider we've already had one game go to the 90th minute with a last-minute winner. We've had another game with an incredible comeback from England going to extra time, and then obviously that incredible and ridiculous penalty shootout last night. This game could genuinely top the lot, so we shall see. But I'm going for France, 3-2 for me. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I will, of course, be back again for my previews and predictions for the semi-finals next week. So a final thank you very much for watching once again. I'll see you very soon.